Hey, it's George here. Today I want to talk about something that I've often thought myself. I don't think I've ever blogged about it, and I kind of thought, well, I never really thought anything of it until I had a conversation yesterday with somebody, and it seemed that they had a very similar idea as to what they wanted to get out of their running and the level of fitness. That was it, the level of fitness that they wanted to achieve. So let me tell you about this conversation. It'll hopefully help you understand what the heck I'm talking about here. So we were talking about half marathons, and this particular lady was looking at getting back into doing half marathons, having not done one for a good few years now. And she said that when she was doing them previously, she felt really good that she could just step her training up a little bit and run a half marathon. Fantastic. And that's where she wanted to get to now. The point where she can to start with, train for a half marathon, but then at any point in the future, just to be able to maybe step it up a little more, performance in a half marathon. So it got me thinking about some of the things that I've set myself and goals in this context that I've set myself in the past. And I've always been the pacemaker for the Reading Half Marathon here in the UK, and I've always run 1:30. It's been my pace time for that race. So I always know, and I don't ever change my training particularly for it, because I never train to race it, because I'm only going to be running 1:30, which for me seems to be reasonably comfortable. So I would just step up, and I would go out there and run 1:30, and I always feel as though I've got that in the tank. So no matter what kind of training I'm doing, no matter how much running I'm doing, I can always get out there and run a 1:30 half marathon. Maybe a little bit quicker, but definitely 1:30. And that's where I want to be. That's where I always want to be, and at some point where that is no longer possible. But hopefully that day is a long way in the future. But the same thing for 10k. I know I could go out there and run under 40 minutes for 10k quite comfortably, and hopefully closer to 37 minutes for a 10k. For a marathon in October last year, I didn't change my training at all, and I went and did just under 4 hours when I was pacing my sister around the route. So again, I've got these markers for these different distances in my mind that I want to be able to do at least that well for these runs, or at least complete the distance in these particular times. And I'd always thought this, but like I said, I never really spoken about it or blogged about it until this conversation cropped up yesterday. And I thought, well, I wonder if anybody else does that. I wonder if this is something that, or if you're not doing it, that perhaps we should be doing. Maybe we should be saying, well, I know I can run a marathon, or I know I can run a half marathon, but if I were to just drop my training right down, then what would I always be happy with being able to run a half marathon in? And or obviously, you take it down too much, and eventually you're not going to be able to complete that distance. So this is all about looking at where you like to hold your base level of fitness, and you can put that into a number by saying, well, this is the speed or the time I like to be able to run these particular races in. So this really is just a bit of a random ramble about that topic, but I wanted you to perhaps think about it yourself, and if you're brave enough, just stick what your baseline fitness and race performances are in the comment section below. It'd be good to see if you've already thought about this, or if it's just me and this other person I was speaking to on the phone yesterday. I suspect that's not the case. I suspect there are others out there as well. But if you run a 1:45 half marathon, and that was for half marathons now, but you always know that you could get out there and pop out a sub 2 hour half marathon, or at least feel in yourself that you could do that. So stick your comments down below, and we'll see what we come up with this. But yeah, I've got some great stuff coming your way in the next week or so. So stay tuned and let me know what you think. Bye for now.